Voidmage Gamer is now partnered with Flipside Gaming, so you can use the promo code on their website, all caps Voidmage, to get 10% off all orders $10 or more. It's a great way that you can support both Flipside Gaming and Voidmage Gamer's channel. And if you're a fan of some of the most recognizable works of art from the likes of Monet, Van Gogh, check out the new Masterpiece Playmat collection Flipside Gaming is now selling. Brilliant looking mats. Absolutely wonderful. Check them out. Hello guys, it's that time of the year again. If you remember last year, I did a lot of these top 10 videos. As we are getting closer to Halloween, I think it is appropriate we take a look at some of the more spooky, unsettling cards that the game has to offer us. And yes, this is going to be rather subjective, even though most of my videos are anyway. That kind of goes double for this one, since we're going to be focusing on the actual artwork and even the name to a degree, but mostly it's the art and the spookiness of the creature itself. So before I get anybody saying how trivial it is to have a top 10 for something that is this subjective, just understand it's all in good fun here. As always with my top 10 videos, I started off with the honorable mentions. This honorable mention is pretty much going to be all of the vampires in Magic the Gathering. Why this is because vampires have lost a lot of their scariness. I don't think that they're that scary anymore. Depictions from movies like Underworld, I don't really think they're that scary, and I guess this could go for some zombies too. I think zombies and vampires are just way too mainstream. But especially when it comes to vampires, there's definitely some zombies that are still creepy as hell. And I think that has been the one consistent thing about the depiction of vampires in this game, is that they tend to look more human than just creatures of the night. So let's just start it off here with number 10, something that is rather tame, but I think is still worth mentioning. Nekasar the Mindraiser, probably one of the most well-known, maybe one of the most played commanders on this entire list. He is a zombie, and I did say zombies aren't as creepy as they used to be. This guy just looks menacing as hell. He is just going to be burning a hole into your brain, torturing you from the inside out. That's exactly what he wants to do. If you look at the card propaganda, this guy is just terrifying. And one of the things that I've always secretly wanted was just some sort of follow-up when it comes to commander cards and the lore behind them. Nekasar the Mindraiser is definitely one that I want to see some more of. And going to number 9, Ishkana the Graph Widow, the spider. I'm not the biggest fan of spiders. I'm okay with ones that mind their own business. They're off in a corner somewhere, eating other insects. Stay the hell away from me and we'll be just fine. This one is very Halloweenish, in a graveyard. This is Innistrad after all, so yeah, I mean, you're gonna get a lot of Halloween themes from that plane. That was kind of the whole point. Maybe not one of the most popular commander cards, but if you want to get some creative points, you want to play with themed decks in your playgroup, Ishkana will definitely get you some. And next we have the Ghost Council of Orzhova. Both versions doesn't really seem to matter. You just have cards here with multiple ghosts. You don't really see this at all anywhere else. It's usually just one ghost or a ghost that can make other ghosts, but it's a ghost council. It's very spooky. The only thing scarier than a ghost is a political ghost, and that's what you have here with the Orzhov. I wonder if we're going to get a third one this time around in the Return to Ravnica. Guess we'll have to wait and see. Then number 7, we have Grimgrin Corpseborn. Like I said before, zombies aren't too scary anymore, but this guy's basically Frankenstein's monster. You can see he's sewn together. Another theme with Innistrad was that you had experiments. A lot of zombies were just experiments. Multiple creatures sewn together. Absolute nightmares. Most zombies, I would say, in Magic the Gathering are pretty tame, but you get some really unsightly creatures from this plane in particular, and Grimgrin Corpseborn is definitely a commander to be feared. And number 6, we have Tsabo Tavok. If you fear one day that we may be headed towards a dystopian cyberpunk future, Tsabo Tavok is nightmare fuel. Machines taking over the world, spider creatures, just looks absolutely terrifying. Also featured on the card Phyrexian Altar, arguably more terrifying on that card, but this is just the Phyrexians. They're very creepy, and like I said before, I don't like actual spiders. Spiders that have like a cyborg humanoid aspect to them. Just abnormal spiders are even more creepy. Number 5, we have Skullbriar the Walking Grave. Doesn't really need too much of an explanation explanation here. Literally a walking grave. Something you might see from Dark Souls. Not something you would ever want to encounter in real life. Just pure nightmare fuel here. Number 4, we have the Gitrog monster. Holy cow. Maybe not the most outright terrifying card on this list, but personally, I'm not a big fan of amphibians or anything like that, especially massive ones that are capable of eating human beings. This is absolutely terrifying to me. And yes, you have literally monster in the name. I just think it was a little bit unsettling that you have a human arm hanging out of the mouth. And let's just emphasize the fact that this thing eats people. This is, of course, Innistrad again, so it's appropriate that you see a few cards from that plane on this list. The Gitrog monster is just further proof that Innistrad is basically Halloween the plane. Number 3, we have the newest card on this list, Aminatu the Fate Shifter. I don't know what it is about little girls, but they do creepy better than anyone else. Aminatu is no exception. Maybe if they made more of an effort to illustrate more life in her eyes, she may not even be on this list. She's a pretty good card, probably the best commander on this list easily, but that doesn't mean that she isn't all kinds of creepy. She just looks like she's been abandoned in a swamp and just holds all kinds of resentments for it. Then number 2, we have the Reaper King. No doubt about it, you have the Scarecrow legendary creature. I don't think there's really a single card on this list that's going to do Halloween better than the Reaper King. Just the creature type alone. The artwork is pretty unsettling. I've mentioned before, this is basically like a death metal album cover. Most of the scarecrows that you're gonna see around Magic the Gathering aren't too creepy. The Reaper King is probably the most creepy. And seeing as this isn't even from Innistrad, I know, right? You'd think that Halloween the Plane would have more scarecrow creatures. Lorwyn absolutely loves them. And then we have number 1, which is probably the scariest creature. Not just legendary creature, not just commander option, but the scariest creature in Magic the Gathering, for me, is Visara the Dreadful. Not a very popular commander option. You're not going to hear me complain about that too much because the less that I have to see Visara, the better. She is all kinds of terrifying. She's a Gorgon. Gorgons are supposed to have snake hair. That doesn't look like snakes at all for hair. It looks like gigantic claws or spider legs. I don't know what the hell those are supposed to be. And the worst thing about her is that she's flying. Gorgons don't fly typically. The thought of a flying Gorgon is petrifying. And I know that Gorgons are supposed to be petrifying inherently. Just looking at this one, yeah, I don't know how I'd be able to go on living. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this top 10 list. Hope you all enjoy Halloween. Let me know what you think about these commander options. Feel free to leave any suggestions if I missed anything. Also, keep in mind I did leave vampires off the list, because I just think that they're shock value, their horror, whatever you want to call it. They're just not that spooky anymore, and I think pop culture has made sure of that. You guys have a wonderful day. Void here signing off. See you all next video.